Hi and welcome to episode 81 of the This is Reportage podcast. My name is Alan Law. I'm the founder of this reportage and this reportage family, and I'm a photographer too. I thoroughly enjoyed chatting to the fab Marieke Zwartscholten this week. Based in the Netherlands, Marieke is a great wedding and family photographer, having won numerous awards from us on both our wedding site and family site, and we talk about both disciplines on the episode today. Stick with us as Marieke talks about why attending workshops has been so vital for her, how she captured one of her specific reportage awards, the one of the bride arriving shot through the groom's legs, her top tips for documenting families, her experience judging for our wedding site and top tips for people submitting, running her own training and workshops, and Netflix synopsis game, pressure, nerves, and so much more. Hey Marieke, how you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I'm good. Yeah. How's things with you? Because you're over in Holland, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm in the Netherlands near Rotterdam.
Okay,
and,
nice.
We have really nice weather. Finally summer, so that's great.
Oh, that's good. We've had some nice weather recently, actually, for England. Very nice, actually. But now it's all kind of cloudy. I think we've had our summer. We had like 3 days of sun, and that was our summer. Just
that
gone.
Was it.
Yeah. I've never been to Holland. Actually, I need to go.
You should. It's not that far away.
I know. There's no excuse, is there?
No.
There's no. Have you been over to England before?
Yeah. It's been a long time ago, but I've been to London and to Scotland.
Oh, nice. Oh, they're both very far apart from each other. What were you doing in Scotland?
Well, I think it's like 25 years ago. We did like a bicycle trip.
Oh, cool.
And it was quite hard because the distances were long and the weather wasn't that good, but it was really beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, it is beautiful up there, isn't it? It is.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah.
But cycling, you didn't cycle from London to Scotland, though?
No, that was a different trip.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's too far.
And Marieke, thank you for joining me on here. It's lovely to hear your I've heard your voice because you did a video for this reportage family members. A great video, by the way. I love that. So thank you for that. That was awesome. How has it been? Let's start with 2020 and the year that's been a nightmare for us all. Really, how has it been for you? Have you been okay?
Yeah, I think I have nothing to complain about, but of course I do. Well, I was very lucky because right before it all started, I had this master class that I gave, a 2-month workshop, and with 4 people, I think. And we managed to finish it right before the first lockdown at the beginning of March. And also I organized my first seminar about documentary photography. And it was a success, and it was like 1 week before the lockdown, and there were 70 people there. So the first 2 weeks after it, I was really nervous. Like, okay, if there was anyone with COVID, it would be a super spreader event.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't.
Oh, that's good. Wow, what a relief! That's such great timing to be able to do that just before the lockdown.
So that was really lucky. But after that, yeah, of course, it was the same for everyone, I think.
Were you able to shoot much in the year?
No. I think a lot of my work is mentoring other photographers.
Okay.
And I also photograph as well. So that kind of stopped. I did a few day in the lives.
Any weddings at all were you able to do? Or
no. Next week, my first wedding.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow.
I'm nervous for that as well.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I did my first one last weekend, just a small 5-hour one, but I was even more nervous than normal. I was.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a full wedding for you or shorter hours? Or
no, I think like 6 hours.
Okay.
And it will be a nice one. It's an older couple. They have grandchildren, and
cool.
Yeah, so it will be good. But yeah.
Oh, it'd be good to get shooting again, though, won't it? When was the last time you shot a wedding? Then how long has it been?
I think at the end of 2019.
Yeah, that was the last time I kind of did a big wedding, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was around that time. It's mad, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
mad.
it is. Yeah.
And how have you been kind of personally, mentally as well? Have you been okay?
Yeah. We so I got less work, but it was fine. I had more time to spend with my family, and my children really needed that. So that was good. And I have been a teacher, so I think the homeschooling part was easier for me than for some other people.
Oh, right. Yes. I was gonna ask you about that actually, because I was gonna ask you just about your photography journey, because I read that you studied building engineering and architecture, and you were a teacher as well, which you just mentioned. So yeah, so how did you go from all that into photography? What's your journey, Marieke?
Yeah, well, I think it's a crazy one, but
Well, that sounds good.
I always tell people I will be a bus driver someday or something else. I'm not sure, but yeah, I did. I studied building engineering in Delft at the Technical University, and then I worked with an architectural agency.
Okay.
And it was nice, but I never felt the passion that my colleagues showed.
Right.
I liked it, but that was it. And then I thought I was going to be a teacher, which sounded strange. A friend of mine even told me, "You just want to have kids, but you're going to be a teacher just to spend your time with kids." But I don't think so. So yeah, I studied that, and I was a teacher for 8 years at a
Okay.
primary school.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Was that fun? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did, and it was for around 8-year-olds.
Okay. Cool.
And it was really fun, but I think over time it became more important to document everything about children, and not document like in the way we do it with photography, but just put everything in the computer about the children.
Okay.
And I got less time to spend on projects and
That's interesting.
stuff like that. So it became less fun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meanwhile, a colleague of mine asked me to photograph her wedding. And I think a lot of photographers have that same journey. Someone
Yes.
asking them to photograph their wedding.
Had they known that you were really into your photography then, I guess?
Yeah. It was my hobby. Yeah.
Mm. And how was that? How did that wedding go?
It was great, but I don't want to see the pictures again. She still is a friend of mine, and she still likes the pictures.
Oh, that's good. You don't have any on your website then, on your portfolio?
No.
I understand that.
I show them when I mentor people, like, this is where I came from. So
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's cool. So you must have enjoyed though the actual shooting, and did that make you think maybe you could do this as a career then?
Yeah, but I took it slowly. I still was a teacher, and I
Right.
did like a few weddings a year, and then I became a mother. So I spent a lot of time being a mother.
Right. It's
It's
an important job. Important job.
It is, yeah, the most important one.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And then how did you and shooting? Is that where your kind of your documentary family work began as well? Was shooting your own children?
no, I was thinking about it. I also listened to the podcast before. I think her name was Erica.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Erica Hawkins. Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because she said she admired the photographers who photograph other families because she only photographs her own family.
Mm.
But to me, it's the other way around. I think it's hard to be a mother and photograph my own children because I'm biased and I'm also their mother, and they react to me in another way than they would react to another photographer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's harder to photograph my own children, and I don't do it enough. So I sometimes we do how do you say that? with another photographer friend. I photograph her family and she photographs mine. And I think
cool. Like a shoot swap,
what,
family shoot swap. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And we even did that on March the 12th,
Oh, wow.
2020. So
Just
that
before
was,
lockdown.
yeah, really just before. And I walked into the school for, I think, 8 years to get my children. And that was the last time I did it. So it was, we didn't know it was going to be such an important picture because now we aren't allowed to go into the school.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. So have you had that done quite a few times? Other photographers coming in and capturing your family?
I think 3 times now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. You know, I still never had that done. I really need to. Yeah. I know, and I know quite a few family photographers now as well.
Yeah.
So
I would say, yeah.
I do really need to do it. When your experience as a mom when you're being photographed like that, do you feel relaxed? Do you kind of follow watching the photographer to see what they're doing from a professional level, or do you just forget all about that?
Oh, you shouldn't ask me that because I always tell other photographers they will forget about you and they will be at ease and it all will be good. But because I'm also a mentor, when I mentor people, we go and photograph together. So I observe them a lot, and I'm thinking, okay, how can we improve the photography? So it's not easy for me to let go when there's a photographer in my house.
I bet, yeah, that must be difficult.
But last year, it was really a good friend of mine, so it was really okay. But it took me a few hours.
I bet the other photographer feel pressure photographing you and your family. That's funny.
Yeah, I guess so. But I also photographed her, and it was the same. So.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So after you did that wedding for a colleague, then and then how did you start doing more weddings and did you start doing family work around the same time, or did that come later? Or
I photographed everything, even architecture and post family sessions and like everything. So
that's
cool. And then it took me a while to figure out what I really liked. I did some workshops and some mentoring, and I think in 2015 I did a foundation workshop.
Okay, cool. Yeah. How was that? I was going to ask you about that because you say on your bio that you've attended workshops in the US and learned from the best documentary photographers in the world. So that, yeah, I guess that was a major event, that foundation.
Yeah, it was game changing.
That's cool. Who are your mentors then?
Yeah, Kirsten Lewis Batman.
Oh, cool.
And David Murray.
Right. Cool.
So I learned so much from them, and I was always thinking about photographing families. And then Kirsten became my mentor, so that was kind of meant to be.
Okay, yes, that's true. That's cool.
Yeah, and then after that, I started photographing families as well.
Okay, cool. Didn't you also photograph a foundation workshop as well?
Yeah, in 2018. I was the workshop photographer, which was the most nerve-wracking I ever did.
Yeah.
Because, I was in the room with all these photographers, and I think the students have a lot of talent as well. But then there are all these mentors that I really admire. And there I was the only one with a camera, just capturing it all. So that was nerve-wracking, but I learned so much, and it was great. I'm really happy with the results. So
that's really cool. An honor to photograph that as well. But yeah, I totally understand how scary that would have been. Yeah. I can only imagine the thought of all these super photographers going to be looking at all these images afterwards as well. It's like, oh, that is scary. That's scary. Is that from the time? Because is it what in one of your specific Reportage Family Awards? Is that Tyler working in the image?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to Tyler on the podcast before. Obviously, he's awesome. Was that from around that foundation time, or was that a separate time? Or?
No, I think it was 2 years before that, because I did a mentorship with him for a year, and we did a lot of online sessions. But I also went to visit him, and it was so great. We did a wedding together. I photographed a family with him. And then I said, well, on Sunday we have nothing to do, so I could photograph your family. And I thought a lot of photographers probably said they would do that, but they didn't. So
you actually did.
I then photographed his family and also learned a lot of that as well. But yeah,
that's cool. That's so cool to have done that, and I bet he loves the images. Were you nervous shooting his family?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I'm always there to learn. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It sounds like it's great that you just go for things like that. I think that's really cool. And that image is great because he looks like he's like mowing the lawn, isn't he? It looks like he's going to be hit by the kids on the swing or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I also have another picture where he almost is hit by it. So.
That's cool. And anyone's listening now, I'll include that on this reportage.com or reportagefamily.com. You'll be able to see that image. It's very cool. I think that's really grand how you've gone over to America. So that's quite numerous times then to learn and get better. That's really cool. Dedicated.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of those things are nerve-wracking, or how do you say it? But I always think, what's the scariest thing that could happen? And well, I won't die.
No, that's true. Oh, touch wood.
Just do it, and yeah.
I think that is a really good mentality, Marieke. Totally. Yeah, I need to be like that more because I'm nervous about things. Like even talking to you now, I was nervous, and I say to myself as well, "What's the worst that can happen?" I'm like, "Yeah, nothing. We're just talking."
Yeah. Well, I think you have the same mentality because you built this great this is reportage. You did it, and it's a lot of work, I think.
No, it is a lot of work. That's true. Yeah, I don't know, masochist, and I somehow enjoy all these nerves, but I don't. Honestly, I don't actually. So I don't know. Talking of that, actually, so you were a judge for us on our wedding site back in Collection 14. So thanks so much for that again, Marieke. How did you find the judging process? Did you enjoy it? And do you have any tips for people submitting, as a past judge and winner yourself? Sorry, that was a lot of questions then.
That's okay, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for asking me to be a judge, because I think it was during the first lockdown. So it gave me something to do.
Oh, yeah, that's a good time to do it, actually.
But I really enjoy it. I love looking at other people's work. I think the hard thing for me is not to spend too much time on the judging. I think I finished it like 1 hour before the deadline.
Did you?
I always do that. But that's because when I see a picture, I'm going over it like, oh, you should have cropped that, or and it doesn't make sense to think stuff like that because the photographers won't hear my feedback. So.
No, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, I love it, and I think the quality of the submitted work is just so high. So it's really nice to see all the pictures.
Thank you for doing it, because I know it must have taken a long time as well.
Yeah, but that's really nice. And you asked me about tips.
Oh yes,
I always tell people when they really believe in a picture, just keep submitting it, because it's just like 3 or 4 judges that look at it, and of course it's always a matter of taste. And maybe these judges don't like it, but the next ones will. So
that's so important, isn't it? I totally 100% believe in that as well. Yeah, like, I just told you the picture with Tyler in it. It's like 4 years old. Right, yeah.
So, yeah, just keep submitting it. And
Yeah, so true. And someone who recently won a Reportage Award had submitted it, I think 18 times or something
yeah,
before, and you just never know what's going to appeal to the judges, do you? You just never know.
no.
So,
And I think a lot of people are so hard on themselves. They think like, oh, I submitted it and I didn't win anything, so I won't submit anything again. And yeah, just keep trying and also be reasonable, because some pictures just aren't that good. But if you find
That's true.
yeah, well, I always advise people to find a colleague that they feel at ease with, and will go through all the pictures together, and just because it helps if someone looks at a picture who wasn't there. I think a lot of times as a photographer, we know what happened just before, just after, or we heard what somebody said. And somebody should look at it who wasn't there and doesn't know all these things, just to know how they experience a picture.
That's good advice. Yeah, definitely. That's good advice. And you mentioned earlier just about looking at them and thinking, oh, why didn't they crop that? Or, for me, cropping is a massive deal, actually, isn't it? That's really something that's everybody can use so much more effectively.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people just do it too fast. And I'm really slow. So when I edit a wedding, it just takes me forever.
Oh, really? How long?
Oh, I don't know. I think first culling it, I think it's called, when you... Yeah. It takes me forever. And then I end up with, I think, 500 pictures. And then I edit like 50 pictures myself. And I really take a long time for it. And then the other pictures, somebody else edits for me.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good way to get kind of a work-life balance back.
Yeah. It really, I'm so happy with it, because I really don't enjoy editing the other pictures. It takes me so long, and those aren't the most important ones. And the photographer who does it for me, she just knows how I want it. So.
Oh, that's perfect, isn't it? When you've got someone who really understands the way you want them to look and the way you want to. Yeah, that's really good. Did it take you a while to find someone, that would really got you like that? Because I've had a little of experience with outsourcing, and it's never gone that well for me, I think. So did it take you a while, or?
No.
Oh, that's cool.
I already knew her. She's a Dutch colleague, and now she doesn't even photograph anymore. She has her own editing company. It's called Editing Moments. And when she was a photographer, she even did my workshops. So now she really knows how I want it. So. Oh,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's really good. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you about cropping as well, about taking a long time. You saying you think people do it too quickly?
Oh,
maybe?
yeah. Yeah, I think if they take more time with the pictures they really like, just to try different crops and really think about what works and what doesn't, then it can change the picture and make it award-winning, I think. So
yeah, it totally can. I totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree. Awesome. Of course. See, this is good. I'm not nervous now. Are you nervous now?
No, I'm less nervous now. So.
That's good. We're doing well. This is good. This is fun. Let's change tack a bit, Marieke.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you watch much telly or Netflix or anything?
A lot, yeah.
Oh, you do? Good.
Almost every night. So.
Oh, great. That's cool. Are you watching anything good at the moment?
We just finished the second season of. I'm so bad at. What's it called? My memory is just. It was already bad, but since COVID, it's been a mess. True Detective.
Oh, that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the first season was better, but I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that series, actually. The first series is with Matthew McConaughey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so good. That's one of my. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
that's really good. Oh, I need to add that to my little Netflix game. Actually, I've never asked that one. Cool. So, well, you kind of know what's coming, I imagine. That we're going to.
So, yeah.
So I'm just going to say a few kind of synopses or descriptions and see if you can get the title. Okay, you ready?
I think so.
Okay, so this one is an older film, actually. So it's a movie. I don't know if it's on Netflix. This might be a synopsis from somewhere else, but okay. So Andy Dufresne, a successful banker, is arrested for the murders of his wife and her lover and is sentenced to life imprisonment at the Shawshank prison. He becomes the most unconventional prisoner.
Yeah. Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. Great. That's great, isn't it?
It's really great. Yeah. I think I saw it like 3 times.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And actually, Stephen King wrote that, didn't he? It's based on a little short story of his.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's such a long film, then.
I know, that's strange, isn't it? Yeah, it was a short story. The short story is actually called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, and they made a long film. Because is it about 2.5 hours or 3 hours? The film.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a magic film. That is a magic film.
Yeah.
Anyone's not watched that? Definitely check it out. Cool. Well, that's 1 out of 1 so far, Marieke. Yeah. That's great. Okay. Okay. So the next one is a much more recent film, and it's nowhere near as good, in my opinion. But yeah. Okay. And this one is on Netflix, at least in the UK. Anyway. Okay. So the synopsis is: after a global blackout erases humanity's memory of the Beatles, a struggling musician performs the group's music and becomes a pop sensation.
That doesn't really ring a bell.
No, that
doesn't sound like a movie I would watch.
Yeah, I think you're wise not watching it, to be honest. Yeah, it's called Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, it's a Beatles song, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good. It's not worth a watch. I what Lily James is in it. Do you know Lily James, the actress?
No.
She was in. Have you seen Mamma Mia, the musical thing?
No, I didn't even watch that. I know it, but yeah.
Anyway, she's okay. Let's skip that. Anyway, let's go on to your final one. So this one is an old series, Marieke. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not on Netflix. It's on. I wish it was, but anyway. But it's okay. Okay, right. So Tony Soprano.
Sopranos.
Oh, boom! Yes, that's great. Cool. Have you watched?
Best one, yeah. It's my favorite. We
really?
saw the whole series like 3 times.
Oh, that's great. Do you know? I remember when it came out. It was a long time ago, wasn't it? Yeah. And I watched the first series and loved it, but I've never seen any more than the first series, actually.
Really? Oh, you should. I think last year we just decided to do all seasons again.
Oh, how many series are there?
I think 6.
Oh, right. Okay. I need to watch it because I don't think it's on any streaming service that I know, like Prime or Netflix. But
yeah, I think in the Netherlands it's on Ziggo. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. I need to get back into that. I remember the first season was just brilliant. So
yeah, it is. We stopped comparing all other series to Sopranos because then we wouldn't like the other series anymore.
Oh, it's that good, is it? Cool.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. And does it stay consistently good over all the seasons?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, that's cool. I have no idea how it ends as well, so that's good. I should go back and watch them.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh no, that's great. If you knew the answer straight away, that's great. That was really good. 2 out of 3. That's really good, Marieke. That is really good. I'm watching Friends again now, so we're starting right from the beginning. We're only on the 2nd series. I'm really enjoying that, actually.
Yeah. I think a lot of times I'm not a reader, unfortunately, but my husband goes to bed and he reads a little, and I watch a little of Friends.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's a perfect just before bedtime kind of viewing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Just think about nothing and
yeah. Oh, I love it. Do you know, I've again with Friends, I've only seen I think the first 3 or 4 seasons, so I have no idea how it ends. So I'm really excited.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
That's funny.
Okay, Marieke, that was great. That was fun. Let's go back to your photography, and you were in our top 100 photographers worldwide on our family site, this Reportage Family, in 2020, which is awesome. Congrats for that. So I got your tips before on kind of being a judge for wedding, but what would be your top tips for people who want to get better at documentary family photography? I know you don't have to go on for ages because I know you're so knowledgeable on all this, but just what's kind of a top tip or some of your best advice?
Oh wow.
I know, sorry, that's a big one. I know people would love to hear from you in that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Um, wow. I think a lot of times photographers tend to um, just look at the family and think, okay, I have to build a relationship with them, and I think that is really, really important. But take your time before you begin to photograph. Look at their house, look at the background. Just observe them a little bit, ask them what their traditions are.
Okay.
Yeah, just um, make sure you know them before you start photographing them. And
That makes sense.
not only them, but also their house and their surroundings.
Yeah, that sounds really good because I get I myself, when I turn up at a family shoot or wedding, you can feel compelled to just start shooting straight away.
Yeah.
But as you're saying there, maybe your time is better spent just observing, getting to know them more.
Yeah, and I think it's also something I learned from Tyler, that he saw the way I worked, and I just I learned that I had this thought in my mind that the people hire me to photograph, so that's what I do. I should photograph all the time. And he just pointed out, why were you making photos of that, and why were you photographing that? And then I learned, okay, there are some times that you shouldn't photograph. Just be there and observe and try to figure out what they are doing and what's important to them. And
No, that's really interesting. But yeah, I totally get that. I remember, especially at my first weddings, feeling like I would have to always be seen to be working, to be photographing. What if the bride and groom look over and my camera is not up to my eye? They'll think I'm not. But we can't work like that, can we? We don't get our best results when we're just shooting like a headless chicken and running around. We need to take time.
No, that's why at a wedding, well, not next week, but usually I take a second shooter with me.
Oh, cool.
I feel more at ease to not photograph and just take a few minutes to get me out of the situation and just relax a little, think about what I'm doing. And
that makes sense. Have you always worked with a second?
No, I think just the last 3-4 years. Something like that.
And you definitely prefer it with a second. I'm just interested because I've never had a second actually, so it's just interesting for me to.
Oh yeah. I photographed a lot of weddings together. I was a second shooter myself a lot of times, and I learned so much from it, from being a second shooter. Even when I was with a photographer who worked in a totally different way than I did. That also helped me, because sometimes the photographer, he was staging everything, and that really helped me to know that I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So I learned a lot from that, but now, second shooter helps me to, like you said, not run around like a headless chicken.
That makes sense.
Stay in one place and be there. And for example, during the ceremony, I will be at the front of the room, and the second shooter focuses on the family and on the overviews and stuff like that.
It makes sense. It does make sense. Maybe I should try it. I always think I have enough of my images are so awful, the vast majority of them. So I just think to have another person's images to look at as well, there'd be so many, but I should do it.
Yeah, well, I already told you that I really hate going through my own pictures. I always ask my second shooters just to send me a few of those.
Okay, that makes sense. So you don't have to call their whole cards.
No. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah. I'm like you. I hate the cull. The culling is like, it's so tough. That is.
Yeah, it is. Because when I have like 5,000 pictures and I only choose 500 of them, that means that there are more than 4,000 just horrible pictures in there.
Yeah.
I'm behind my computer just cursing and telling myself to be better. And
Oh yeah, I'm just the same. But then when I bring a few then into Lightroom with my preset, I think it makes me feel a bit better then. Makes me
yeah. It does.
That's funny. You mentioned as well about being at kind of the front during the ceremony, obviously, which is I am as well. And one of your specific reportage awards on a wedding site that I think is awesome is the one of the bride and I think her dad coming down the aisle, and you've shot it down low, like in between what I presume is the groom's legs. Do you know the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Can you tell us about that? Did you think beforehand, I'm going to shoot this between the groom's legs, or did the opportunity arose? Just tell us how you did it.
Yeah, well, I was standing next to him because I think that's the most common place to stand when the bride is entering the room. And then I noticed that he was standing really in the middle and that his legs were apart. So at the last minute, I decided to go to the floor and photograph between his legs.
If someone's just tuned in at that specific bit, sounds a bit funny, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it's so cool though. But I think it's so cool to take an image of something that's so iconic, something like the first kiss or the processional like that. Something that's so iconic, but capture it in a different creative way is so great. It's brave as well, though. It's cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and when I think about it, because we talked about it, I was the only photographer then, so that was kind of a risk.
Doubly brave. Yeah, that's cool. I think it's important to take risks, though, and I'm sure you would have got some safe shots like before and after, but it's so cool to do that. Even see it as an opportunity, I think, is really, really cool. Yeah, it's great. Do that couple know that it's award-winning image? Do you know? Or?
Yeah, they do. And at another contest, it also won an award. And they did exposition last year.
Oh, cool.
So it was how do you say it? It was like a big print.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And after the exposition, I gave it to them.
Oh, that's really nice. That's cool.
And then I saw them again, and they have a child now, and they were really happy with the picture. So,
that's great. Oh, that's really cool. Cool, great. I love hearing people's thoughts on the images they've taken. I find that's just really fun. So thank you for sharing about that. And anyone listening now, head to thisreportage.com or thisreportagefamily.com, and I'll include that image that Marieke just spoke about. Marieke, you mentioned it earlier as well about how you do your own training and you run your Get Real workshop. So can you tell us all about that? How did that training side kind of begin? What was your kind of catalyst for that?
I think after the foundation workshop, I met Sven Soetens, who is a Belgian photographer. And afterwards we became friends, and he asked me to be his mentor. And I had never been a mentor, so I was kind of, okay, why are you asking me this? But of course, I have been a teacher, so that makes sense.
Right. That's a big honor for someone to ask you to.
Yeah, it really is. And it was so cool to work with him because he just changed so much. He was, sorry Sven, but he was like an old-fashioned photographer.
Oh, okay, right. Cool.
And he really just, sometimes we argued, but he changed so much after that and really found his own style and talent. And
that's cool. He's won numerous Reportage Awards as well.
Yeah, so. He did. Yeah, he's just really talented, and it's so nice.
Well, some of that's down to you, Marieke. That's very cool.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I always thank him because he is the one who got me doing this. And then I thought I would organize a workshop for more people. So in 2017, in January, we did the first one. And I still, before COVID, I still did it the same way with 4 or 5 students.
Right, okay. That's a nice number. That's proper intimate, isn't it? You can give them a lot of attention then.
Yeah. And I think, we need, I need it to be that way because I think with a much larger group, you cannot make it personally about the people. And I really try to help people on a personal level. And what I learned is that a lot of times the things that are holding people back in their own lives, like generally, are also the things that are holding them back in their photography. So I really try to get to know them and try to figure out what's holding them back in life and photography and try to help them with it.
That's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, when we have a workshop, it's like 5 days.
Wow, that's intense. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. And I always book a house where they all have their own bedroom.
Right, okay.
And then we photograph 2 days. I give them all their own assignments and I visit them. And then we go through all the pictures. It's just so much fun and intense because I think I get like 4 hours sleep a night. But
oh man, that is intense.
That really doesn't matter. It's just so great.
That must be a real bonding thing as well for you all.
Yeah. Some groups still are in contact with each other,
That's so cool, Marieke. And how many of those have you done then?
I think like 10 or something.
Wow, that's a lot as well. That's super.
Yeah, and then I also did the version where that I just talked about that I ended before COVID, like a 2-month session. It's really kind of the same, but we only see each other the first day and the last day, and in between we Skype.
Okay, yeah.
So that's great as well. And I also mentor people just one-on-one.
Right. Cool. That's great that you do all that. I think that's really good. And you have that teaching experience as well. I guess they're not 8-year-olds though that are coming to you.
No.
But that's so awesome. That's really cool. And do you know when you'll be able to do another kind of physical in-person one? Will you do more of those when you're allowed?
Yeah. I can't wait. At the beginning of this year, I finally got my workshop like online training.
Oh, cool.
So there are a lot of people doing that now, and it's like 8 video lessons and some homework, and then we do 1-hour video call. But those people also are able to do like an extra weekend or day with photographing together. So the first one we're planning now in November, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that
crossing
we don't
everything.
have to distance anymore, because that's the biggest problem for me. If we're still social distancing, then a lot of times I tell the photographers, okay, get closer, and I cannot tell them that now.
No, that's true, isn't it? That's so true. Oh, fingers crossed. Yeah, totally fingers crossed. I'm the same because I shoot, I shoot like 80% of my coverage at the 25 mil. I'm really close.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
Oh, that's great. All that training, Marieke, it's great. And if anyone's interested in finding out more about the training you offer, they can head to your site, and I'll include a link to it from thisreportage.com and thisreportagefamily.com as well. Really cool. Let's change tack again slightly, Marieke. Yeah. Okay. If you won the lottery, do you have lottery in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay. If you won it, what would you spend it on, and would you still do photography?
Oh, wow. Well, I never join a lottery, so that would be strange.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be strange. That would be incredibly lucky then.
If I would, I think, I would still do photography. And it would even make it easier for me, because I'm shifting my photography now, and I want it to be more socially engaged and do more for people in that way.
Cool. In what way do you mean by that? I was going to ask you about that because you mentioned it. Yeah, in what kind of way? What do you mean?
It's so hard to explain because I don't really know myself. I think with families and weddings, we do a lot for those families, and those pictures mean everything to them, and I love that. But for example, I want to photograph like a project that brings some awareness to something, or help
I,
to solve a problem or.
oh, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really good.
But
Yeah, and I guess and then if you didn't have any kind of, if you didn't have to earn any money in general, because if you won the lottery, you'd be able to
yeah,
put a lot more time to that kind of thing.
just
Yeah.
go to a charity and photograph for them, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But,
great that you're going to do that more though. That would be so rewarding, and I totally understand the appeal of that. How do you begin with that kind of thing? Yeah, is it as you say? Is it kind of like reaching out to charities, or do you start your own kind of personal projects? You know, what are you going to do?
I think it's hard.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to figure it out myself, and
Right.
I'm also going to do mentoring myself with another photographer to figure it out.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, I did a personal project last year, and well, it wasn't really about raising awareness, but I did want to focus on something positive. Uh,
Okay.
I think there's a lot of um, newsworthy pictures that are just about problems, and I
Hmm.
wanted to change that. Um,
That's great. What was it? What was the personal project on then?
yeah, it was the school that I worked for a lot of years ago. The principal, he was just he was a lot of fun, and he was always in the door shaking all hands at the beginning of school.
Oh, that's cool.
He knew all hundreds of children by name and just making fun with them, and
Hmm.
they all went into school with a smile.
Oh,
And when he started the school, it was in a neighborhood where there were a lot of cultures, but there were also a lot of new houses.
right.
So the school, if he hadn't done anything, the school would have been like a white school, and he didn't want that.
Yeah, okay.
So he made sure that all cultures came to his school, and that's the positive thing about it, because he succeeded in that. And 25 years later, so now it's really just a school with all cultures. Like in Rotterdam, you have them all over.
Okay.
So my plan was to photograph 10 families with different cultural backgrounds, from breakfast, like 7 a.m., until 8:30 when they shook the principal's hand.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did 5 families, and then there was COVID. So, and the principal, he retired last summer, so I didn't know how to end my project. And then
Oh yeah.
I thought about photographing him. So I went to his house at 6 a.m., I think, and I photographed him from his breakfast until the time he would normally have shaken hands with all the children, but now he couldn't.
Oh.
Um,
Well, that's fascinating. That's such a great project. That's so
I
cool,
think so
Marieke.
too, but I haven't figured out what to do with it. So
Yeah.
these pictures, and that's it.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you start a project like that with a kind of end goal in mind of whether, I don't know, like an exhibition or a book or website. It's really interesting. Yeah. What do you think you will do then?
Well, I would like to have an exposition or something, but at the beginning of COVID, we had another project with 13 photographers. We photographed our own family because that's all we could do during the first lockdown.
Right. Yeah.
And we thought we would contact musea to ask them if they do an exposition of our pictures. But it was so hard because, of course, the museum was closed as well, and they had all these expositions that they needed to do afterwards. And it was hard. So I didn't try after that.
No, it's a tough time for it. It's a tough time for it.
Yeah.
But I think that's so cool that you've done that. You've done that project. That's really cool. And it sounds like a really inspirational figure.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
He must be. He must have been quite honoured with it all.
Yeah, he was, but it was funny because he was also. How do you say? When you look at yourself in the mirror, you see yourself from the front, and I think that's all he did, because when he saw my pictures from the side, he didn't really like it.
Oh, really? That's funny. No
His,
profile shots. No profile.
his belly was a bigger than he thought it was. So.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing those images though. 'Cause I think that's really, really cool. Really
Thank you. Yeah.
really rewarding as well, doing something so positive and shining a light on someone so influential and inspirational. And yeah, it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's something I would like to do more often.
Oh, I should do that as well. I always, honestly, when I talk to people on the podcast, I should do all these things that everyone does so many inspiring things. I'm like, I need to be doing this. There's not enough time in the day, is there? There's not enough time in the day. There isn't.
No.
But I should probably make more somehow. I should get up early. Oh no, I get up early enough. We get up about, I don't know why I'm talking about what time I get up. I get up early, about 6:30 in the morning. That's early, isn't it? 6:30?
Sorry?
6:30?
Oh, wow, that's early. Yeah.
Yeah, that's early. So maybe I should have more time to do stuff. I should. Marieke, I like this question. What does it mean to be successful to you personally? You know, what is success to you?
Yeah, that's really a great question. Hard to answer.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, it is hard.
Yeah, because I think you always shift the things you think are going to make you successful. Because in my career, at first I thought I need to win awards to make me feel successful. But then you win awards and you're really happy with it. But you still don't feel successful, or at least if I speak for myself, I didn't. So yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. My goal is to do something that is my passion, but also make other people happy with it.
That's a great goal to have. I think that's really
yeah, but it's hard to say when did you achieve that, or yeah. But it's also my goal to be a really good mother, and yeah, I think it's a lot of things.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? It's so many things. I just find it so interesting hearing different people's opinions on that. Yeah, you're so true. And think it's funny in life, isn't it? How you achieve something sometimes, and you think that's going to be this big thing, but then, yeah, it just doesn't. It's like that kind of treadmill that you're on all the time.
Yeah. And I think you always look at in your career at the people who are one step ahead of you. And then you think, oh, but I'm not as good as they are. And yeah, that really doesn't help.
No, it doesn't, does it? That whole comparison thing.
Yeah, I always tell my students that they need to look at their work from a few years ago, and then look at their own, the way they photograph better.
That's true. Although for me, because I've not been shooting much, obviously, with COVID, so I've been putting up images on my Instagram from a few years ago, you know, and looking through some older stuff, and I'm like, wow, I think I was a better photographer back then. Actually, actually my photos are all right back then, but now I don't know. It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, it is.
So I've actually quite been enjoying looking back through my older work, actually, because you just forget. You forget everything that you've done and taken. It's really surreal. Quite enjoy it.
I think even for last when I submitted pictures for This is Reportage, I went through because of course we don't have a lot of new weddings to go through. Yeah. I found some old weddings, and I really found some pictures that I didn't like then, or I gave them to the wedding couple, but I didn't realize that they were good. So I edited them a little differently, and I submitted them. So
yeah, and that's cool, isn't it? It's really cool, actually. Like finding these kind of gems in our back catalogue. It's it's cool, and it's good for me because I just have an awful memory, you know. So it's good that my job is actually with photography because I can then see what I've done in the past. That's actually really, really handy. Yeah. Marieke, what to you is the most challenging aspect of family photography? If we go back to families, what's the most challenging bit for you?
I would say finding the families who want to invest in it, because I think for weddings it's so much more common to invest a lot of money in a photographer, but for
That's so
families, it's they think we'll go to a studio, we'll just spend a few bucks, and we have good pictures. So
that is true. How do you address that? I mean, how do you try and do you try and educate potential clients? Not educate, but just let them know that this documentary world exists of family photography, and look how great it is. How do you find your family clients?
I think through social media. Of course, they see my work and they realize that pictures, they can be posted, but of course it can be like documentary. And I'm lucky to have a few families that ask me every year or every 2 years to come back.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really nice, because they really understand what I do. I think some families, they think, oh yeah, we're just being ourselves, but now we're going to make a cake, and then they are making the cake, and I think, you never do that.
Yeah, I bet that must happen quite frequently. That's funny. Yeah. Everyone's dressed up in their finest, like.
Yeah. But I have these families, and they go to the furniture store to buy themselves furniture when I'm with them. So that's really nice, and I like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Of course, a couple of my wedding couples, they now have children, and they ask me to be their photographer again. So that's really nice as well.
That's really nice, isn't it? To see all those kind of parts of their life story like that, and you've documented them. It's an honor as well. And that's
yeah. And it's always, the nicest people that ask me again. So I really enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to have you done many kind of day in the life shoots? So I guess that's one of the hardest things to kind of sell, isn't it? I imagine.
Yeah, it is. And I started 4 hours because I think some people need like an hour to get adjusted to my presence there. So I won't do 1 or 2 hours. So the investment is a big thing for them.
Yeah.
And I totally get that.
Yeah, I get it as well. I think it's just one of the reasons of starting this reportage family is just to try and increase the prominence of documentary family work in just general, and just show people this is what you can have done, and the story side of it specifically. Look, it's not just about these individual kind of moments. It's and I need to have it done myself as well.
Yeah, it should. Yeah. Or do a swap. And did you ever photograph a family, or
have I ever done it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, but virtually all mine have been kind of past wedding clients, who I've gone on then and photographed their family as well. But I've really enjoyed it. I've not done a day in the life though, so the longest session I've done is only about 2 hours, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to do one. It's not been the year for it though, is it, as well, in people's homes and things. What's it looking like in the Netherlands? What are the rules at the moment? Can you go in other people's houses?
Yeah, we can. We can have 4 visitors, and I think in a few weeks or maybe next week, like 8 visitors.
Right. And how many for weddings?
I'm not sure, 30 or 50.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, and I think there's a difference when they are outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easier for you to do outside stuff. You have better weather than us. Yeah.
Because I think in December I did a day in the life, and I just realized again, of course, that I cannot keep distance when I'm in somebody's house and trying to grab them. So, yeah.
It's so true. Oh, we just want all this to end.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we need that.
Well, anyway, it's looking better, isn't it? Things are looking better than this time last year, anyway. So yeah.
And even in England, because I thought the Delta version was.
Well, yeah, that's not good. So we have cases have gone up a lot more. But the kind of I'm no expert, but they're saying that the vaccines are really breaking the link between cases and like hospitalization and deaths and things.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. We're having to wait now till July the 19th until all the restrictions are supposed to end on July the 19th. Apparently, fingers crossed. Marieke, this is really, really fun talking to you. I think we've got time for a couple more questions, if that's okay. Have you ever made any really memorable mistakes at all? Whether that's at a wedding or a family shoot or in a business mistake or anything, any kind of memorable mistake that comes to mind?
I know. I made a lot of mistakes. Every time I photograph, I make mistakes. And, yeah. I did erase a memory card.
Oh, no.
Before uploading my images.
Oh, no, nightmare.
It is a few years ago, but that wasn't the nicest day.
No, that must have been so scary. Was that a wedding or family shoot?
It was a wedding, so...
Yeah. Were you able to recover? Oh.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I bet that must have been such a scary, hour or so. Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah. No, yeah, more than 1 hour. Yeah, but I was really happy to get them back.
Oh, that feeling when you recovered them, that must have been amazing.
Yeah. But also, I think it's funny because a lot of my students, I think they don't realize we all make mistakes and we only show our best work. But I still have, when I photograph a wedding couple or a family and we go outside, I forget to set my camera to new settings. So
yeah,
it still happens.
Yeah.
When I was with Tyler, he did that too. So
oh, really? As well?
Things like that, yeah. That really helped me, though.
That's cool. It's really good to hear how everybody is just human, though, isn't it? It's really important to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's cool. And thank you for sharing some of yours. I love that. I did that.
Thanks.
Okay, Marieke, it's going to be your final question. It's quite a big one. It's quite a big one. So, what, in your opinion, makes a good wedding or family photographer? You know, it's just an overview, general question. What makes a good wedding or family photographer, in your opinion?
Oh, I thought you were going to say a good image, but then you said a photographer. So.
All right, yeah, no, overall photographer,
yeah. Wow, I think a lot of people are already a good photographer and they don't realize it. But yeah, I think when you when you know what you're doing, and of course, like I said, I make a lot of mistakes myself, and that really is fine. Just learn from it. But when you know how to handle a situation, background lights, moments, and you just, when you're not all over the place, but you know what you're doing and you're waiting for a moment and know how to build a picture and try to get the best out of a situation, then I think you're a good photographer. And I still have moments when I think, oh, wait a minute, I am all over the place, so I need to calm down. But I think, if there are moments that you know what you're doing and you can control your pictures, then you're a good photographer.
That's great. That's great. So cool. Marieke, I honestly, I've so enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
I too.
Oh, thank you. Just so fab. You just, so much great bits of advice there. So interesting and just so warm and lovely to talk to. So thank you. It's awesome.
You have a lot to do now. You have to watch The Sopranos and get a second shooter and swap pictures.
That's true. There's loads for me to do.
My personal project. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's some of the most things ever. Oh, that's funny. But they're all good things to do. Yeah, definitely. And anyone's listening now, do head to the sites, and I'll include the Reportage Award and Reportage Family Award that Marieke spoke about, and more info about her training linked to her website as well. And hopefully one day I'll get to meet you. That would be cool.
Yeah, come to the Netherlands.
I know, we should, definitely. I think it'd be really good to do a kind of this Reportage and Family meetup in Netherlands sometime.
Yeah. There are a lot of photographers who join This is Reportage. So.
Yeah, it's fun. And you're all such a talented bunch as well.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of talent in the Netherlands. So yeah.
Oh, I'd love to do that. And we'll be fingers crossed, we should be doing a Christmas party for TIR and family members in London. So if you can come over, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love that.
But honestly, that was so much fun, Marieke, talking to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Fingers crossed for you. I hope your wedding goes well next weekend.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. All the best, and hopefully I'll meet you sometime.
Yeah, I hope so too. And thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's been awesome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the 81st episode of the This Is Reportage podcast. Marieke was fab. Really enjoyed talking to her. Hope you enjoyed it too. Head to thisisreportage.com or thisisreportagefamily.com for a link to her website and to see the specific Reportage Award and Reportage Family Award that she talked about too. We have lots more episodes of the podcast available where we speak to family and wedding photographers from all over the world, delve into our back catalogue to hear from the likes of Tyler Workin, Phila Rulance, Marina Meadows, Anna Puma, Agada Sanfiz, Richard Skins, Nicola Steras, Sam Docker, Yves Sieppers, and many more too. If you're not yet a member of this reportage or this reportage family, check out all the benefits of joining us, including an unlimited number of images on your profile, 60 individual award and 18 story award entries per year, invites to our physical meetups and parties, exclusive discounts, hours of educational videos featuring tips and advice from some of the world's best photographers, and much more too. Submissions are open now for our next award collections. The deadline is the same for both our wedding site and our family site. Submit by 23:59 BST on 24th of July 2021. No poses, nothing staged. This is Reportage. And this is bye for now.